All right, Moon Muffins. Hopefully the audio is appropriate. I'm waiting for some more equipment to come in, but I got a new camera. And I wanted to talk about the reality of social media and demonolatry, left-hand path stuff, and short format content in particular. Because fuck me already. And we're going to be smoking marijuana. I don't give a fuck what YouTube says. I'm an adult. And most likely so are you. And if not, go to bed. I'm not doing this shit anymore. Everybody's tiptoeing around the wrong shit. But and you know that kind of ties in with social media in general, not just the algorithms with all their bullshit control, which I won't abide by. I'm not doing this deep speak shit. I'm not sitting here pretending that I give a shit about things that need to be called out, and I definitely am not going to sensationalize and dilute left-hand path sort of lifestyle, if you will, demons. And I'm seeing all of that, like anytime I'm on social media, to the point where I can't relate to a lot of this shit anymore. And I miss the sanctity that the occult and pagan satanic communities, witchcraft communities had when social media first became a thing. And I've been wanting to talk about this for a while because it's been bothering me. I genuinely feel like because of short format content and like Witchtok in particular, that is leading more to the demonization of witchcraft than even what the radical Christians are doing. And that sounds really controversial, and people go, oh, me, no. Yes, because you're sitting there wagging your finger and policing every fucking thing that somebody does. You're pissing on a fire hydrant that doesn't exist. You're over romanticizing your demons, and you're clinging on to them to the point where it's becoming role play for a lot of people. And people like myself who will speak my opinion based on my own experiences will immediately get demonized, which is very ironic, isn't it? I am okay with that. I'm not trying to piss and parade about it, but it's become so obvious that I just can't relate to a lot of this shit anymore. And it sucks because I enjoy sharing information and sharing just my journey. But, you know, and I keep most of my practice extremely sacred, if not even more so now, because it just has become so deep that I feel very greedy with my demons, and not in like an unhealthy way, but like I feel so clean with my connections that I think sometimes people forget that some of us, we live like this. We're not just performative. And I'm not talking about being creative, because I'm seeing a lot of creators who do extra, you know, rituals, extra shit, getting demonized too. And I'm somebody who does extra stuff. I don't even film that sort of stuff. And people go, oh yeah, right, blah, blah, blah. It's like, I do witchcraft almost every single day, and I communicate with my demons every single day. And I don't have to force this psychic energy, like force a connection or try really hard. If anything, you know, my demons, they'll kind of tap me on the shoulder, especially one in particular that I don't even want to name a lot of them anymore. And it's not because they told me not to. It's not because of anything negative that's going to happen to me. It's because I also noticed that there is a spectrum of people that are trying to typecast me to speak about a certain entity that I have a lot of idiosyncrasies like, and I'm not embodying him. I do embody, don't get me wrong, but I'm my own person. And sometimes that becomes, I don't want to say frustrating, it's never offended me, but it's interesting as somebody who observes all of this sort of stuff objectively, and thinks that's interesting how people have been really typecasting and becoming like the voice of this, you know, entity, the voice of this, you know, kind of the poster child. And that's very counterintuitive and anti what I would do in the first place and what my demons would want in general. I think a lot of these people who are sensationalizing this to the point where demons and the devil have become fucking sugar-coated are speaking to egregores. My UPG, when I asked him, and if you don't know who, you know, he said that spirits in general, they will have like egregore versions of themselves, avatars of themselves, just to collect energy and be transactional, and also teach, if applicable, the practitioner a lesson, but not like in this demeaning way. Sometimes it is. If you're fucking around, you're going to find out. And they also collect that sort of energy. You know, they will also in a way like cash out on that energy. And I'm wondering if that's happening. A lot of them say that they just don't give a fuck. I'm not here to discredit people's bonds or anything like that, but it has become so out of control and conflicting as somebody who's studied the occult for 2 decades. And I've been a witch for nearly 3 decades. I personally grew up around this, and that's like demonized too, because apparently we fucking know it all, and that's not true. I grew up around psychics and magic and very powerful spiritual people, and my conversations, if I were to be able to speak to those loved ones in flesh about astral experiences, spiritual stuff, it's similar to like talking about what you ate for breakfast yesterday. That is how I've been raised. That's how my kids, who 2 of them are adults now, have been raised. And doesn't mean it's anything glamorous. It's just very natural. But somebody who's very, very spiritual and very adept in a lot of these like calibers, I don't want to say obstacles, with astral travel, with witchcraft, with the occult, and even now as a theistic Satanist, it's very confusing to me why people would limit themselves to being stuck in this kind of hamster wheel of illusions. It's like an energetic hamster wheel, and you're just running in circles, and you're trying to validate yourself and each other, and people who don't do the groundwork are arguing the most, especially in comment sections, and people get really demanding too, which is like, that's funny to me. Somebody was really bitchy because I wasn't sharing information about my demon, and I was like, well, you fucking blew it for everybody, bitch. Now I'll never speak his name again, and like I do once in a while, but it'll be more on longer format content, because the audience that watches my videos on long format content, they're not the ones who are impulsive or have the attention spans of a fucking goldfish, and they can read books. And I'm not trying to shame people, but we need to stop sucking our thumbs here, because now that's even been a controversy where if you tell somebody that they need to read, how fucking dare you? You don't understand. I have ADHD. Like, bitch, so do all of the rest of us. So does everybody fucking else. Probably like 2 out of 3 people do now. It's a blessing and a curse. You can still read books. You have to decide. If you can't pay attention, then you need to deprogram from the dopamine burnout from short format content. And hey, we're all susceptible to it. I'm not judging anybody like, oh, you're doing something wrong. This is programmed that's set up by design. These companies want everybody stuck on short format content and not be able to then watch longer videos and educate yourself, because you're becoming stupefied. Because what happens is every time you scroll up, it's like slot machines. You don't know what you're going to get, what song you're going to get, what little jingle, and your dopamine levels increase without you knowing it, and people are scrolling. Kids are getting addicted to this shit. And I'm not here to be like doom and gloom. Look, I made pacts years ago with 2 of these fallen angels, and one of them I wanted to know my best potential in a very reasonable, grounded manner, and the other I wanted to know the fucking truth, and he showed me the truth in layers about myself, about the system, about the universe, just a lot, and I still don't know shit. But you start to observe things even more objectively, and you see everybody kind of fumbling and collapsing. And that can be a dangerous pool to dive into too, because you can become very like entitled and God complex and know-it-all. So you're just like, fuck, I have to constantly just, walk on this like dental floss, to make sure I don't fall on my ass. And you will fall at times. And in my experience, my demons, they're there to watch me kind of scuff my knees up and get up and cry a little bit and walk forward. And for me, I've had very, very pleasant, kind experiences with, my demon in particular. But I still am like, I'm going to do it on my own. I'm going to walk on broken legs, and thank you for just making me feel seen and making me feel cared about enough to give a fuck. That's all some of us need, But we also move on, and we also don't get stuck in this like false sense of validation that short format content, especially comment sections, are providing for a lot of newcomers. And I'm not using the term baby witch. I'm fucking sorry. I'm not going to do it. I don't have to. That's the thing. You can't make me. I'm too old for this shit. That's the thing too. Who are all these people that have no experience trying to tell some of us that have experience what the fuck to do? Like, these kids have lost the damn plot. I'm too old school for that shit. Sorry. But it's weird to me. I don't have like an emotional feeling like with comments or social media. You have to not give your energetic output so much either. And a lot of these people are gassing themselves out because they're just arguing, and they get a high off of feeling right, and they get a high off of like telling somebody, oh, you need to use lavender. It's like, you don't even practice. It's so transparent when somebody is talking out of their asshole and they don't do the groundwork. I'm sorry, but it's fucking obvious, especially to energy users. And I'm not like a big old like snoopy bitch either. Like, I gotta go check this, scan this bitch's energy. It gets slapped in the face with it. I don't like it. I can see and read somebody like a fucking children's book really quickly, and it's not fun. It's been something that some of us have been hyper vigilant and like just cursed with. So when I see those sort of conversations, I know what to look out for immediately when somebody is not even a novice. They got their information off of some other person's TikTok video. And it has become such a cesspool that on the Van to Rook platforms on short format, I have limited my comment section, and it's only for my audience. And for Instagram, I don't care to grow it. That's like for those of you who have hung out with me in the beginning, and some people will find it. There's so many fucking rules, and I'm breaking all of them. You know, like the ones that are like reasonable to break, obviously. It seems like you can do all these other sinister shit on social media. You see fucking assassinations and children being exploited, and funny how there's no stop to that. But if you mention that Zionists are controlling the fucking world, oh shit, we can't use the juice box emoji anymore because everybody was talking about the Jews and using the juice box emoji. So now that gets filtered off of TikTok because it's anti-Semitic when it's not. And in my opinion, within any sort of sector of religion, if you have a fraction of your congregation doing fucked up shit, all of you collectively need to hold them accountable and not flinch and go, oh, it's not me. Sorry, not all of us Christians are like that. Not all of us Muslims are like that. We're not all pedophiles. Not all of us Jews are like that. Yeah, but there are people in your congregation aren't, and instead of you like collectively doing something about it, you're just trying to pawn it off on the rest of us while you're preaching and spitting fucking scriptures that nobody asked for. And it's become this huge, I don't want to say complex, it's a stupefied, messy, energetic war. To me, that is a layer of spiritual war. And spiritual war is not angels coming down on chariots and horses and then demons like spawning from hell, you know, with fucking swords and shit and cool things. And it's not that. It's the inner dialogue that we have, and other people who are insecure with themselves, they will project control over people's sovereignty, and religion does that. But now we're seeing that within the witchcraft community, because there is a very large sector of practitioners who are proficient in textbook knowledge, but they're not doing the groundwork, and they're the ones that are trying to police everybody. And then you got all of these self-proclaimed baby witches who do nothing but suck their thumbs and then point their fingers at everybody instead of logging off the internet and lighting some candles and actually doing some goddamn work and actually getting their hands dirty and, you know, getting their feet grounded on the earth and getting some grass and sunshine and taking care of yourself. I don't abide to all of that. I hate how we can't even talk about common sense anymore, about like taking care of your body, taking care of your mind, your soul. It becomes triggering. Like, it's fucking nuts. Like, I've bitched about this a few times, but I've been called an ableist like plenty of times just because I'm like, yeah, I have these obstacles with chronic pain and this and that, but I got through them by taking these measures in my life and adopting discipline very slowly and having failure and stagnation along the way and just getting up and doing it. Oh, how fucking dare you? You're an ableist. And I'm like, I'm not an ableist. I'm a disabled neurodivergent person too, and I decided that I don't like the term I can't unless it's like flying off of a fucking building, which sometimes we want to swan dive off of, especially when you're surrounded by people who are chronically trying to convince you that you need to not say that there's a solution for growth, because it's like this narrative people want to fit. They want to feel powerful by policing everybody else, but they don't want to do the work themselves. So there are a fraction of us who are doing the work. A lot of you guys, you don't make videos and you're doing the work. And you're not, you, and I'm different. Like it's like less disciplined for me because I'm being seen doing it. You know what I mean? Like I'm not even, I have a lot of sanctity in my practice, but some of you have so much sanctity, like you are like anonymous online. And I think that's very disciplined. Because some of us, we want to be seen, we got shit to say and things to do and a dance to dance. And but when now it's become so performative and so hungry for profit, which listen, I'm going to be going on one, okay? I want people to make money, but everybody's starting to just regurgitate the same bullshit. They're starting to push, channel messages chronically. They're plugging every fucking tip jar and Patreon, which I am not against. I'm saying the system isn't working. You are feeling the need to do that because you're not being compensated for the shit that you want to. And the way that you get paid is not by trying to force or chase that, especially when the majority of the people who are on social media, who are like, chronically watching short format videos, they're not the ones that are going to support you. They're the ones that are going to want to extract from you and want to put you, they want to put your ass at the guillotine pretty much. And it's weird to observe. I see it with, I don't know anybody on TikTok. I know of a lot of practitioners, but I'm like a silent fan, or I just see people sometimes. And I notice like people start getting ridiculed. And I'm like, the people that I do enjoy watching, they're the ones that are really fucking extra. They're the ones that are getting their hands experience with making their candles, with, processing herbs, with having a beautiful apothecary, having big ass rituals. And you don't need to do all of that, but you don't need to tell the rest of us to be pulled down at your level just because we don't want to do the simple stuff all the time. And I do a lot of simple spells. Like a lot of the spells that I show are very simple. It'd be like a black candle, herbs, some anointing oils, some rice, whatever I'm using. I've got some dragon's blood rice right here with obsidian, and I use this for a lot of stuff. I infuse the dragon's blood myself with olive oil. Unfortunately, it's not as fragrant as other resins that I extract, but you can add some of the essential oil if you want that. But for instance, if I had this, like, but just even thinking of that, like if I had this on a shelf, somebody would be like demanding that I tell them what that is. And if I don't do that, it's like they're entitled. It's so fucking weird. And I think a lot of it is the younger generation, like Gen Z has a lot of great qualities, but also are very entitled and very stunted in their growth because they have been overexposed to everything on social media, and they're just walking fucking billboards, and all they are surrounded by ads, and they're just cranky. And it's just fucked everywhere. And what I'm seeing is a lot of people starting to chase, a lot of people starting to demand, and I'm seeing these metaverse systems crumble completely. And I am foaming at the fucking mouth waiting for it to happen, with the exception of I want people to still maintain their income, of course, because some people really depend on social media for their income. And I personally am 50-50 on that sort of thing. I think you need to have enough skill sets in yourself where you can go somewhere else and still do it. And that's something people don't want to hear. Like, I had to really just rely on witchcraft for having my own financial independence because of my visa restrictions, which my visa's cleared now finally after 10 years. I did spell work in layers with my demon, and who works with a lot of court case stuff, and I'm still in the process of legal matters with the government here, so don't worry one fucking bit though. Which, by the way, if you do court case work, don't just do one spell. Do like an Abre Camino, a road opener, something equivalent, and then do them in layers. Every court case spell that I've done, it's been, a phone call after waiting for months. It's been an appointment. It's been movement. So keep that in mind. But you can work with demons for that, and I fucking promise you. And I have been really, really busy with that part of that chapter of my life too. But people don't want to hear that they don't want to hear how delusional that sounds. Like, so you've depended on magic in order to gain resources? Yes, I have depended on, I've profited from storms that have had minor damage and I was paid out from. I have had people just very generous that don't know me that have given me resources and loan me money so I can get like, movement with my court cases and stuff like that. Like I've had a lot of help, and that was hard for me because I don't like asking for fucking help. I don't ask for help. I would just receive it, and I'm just very weird about that. So demons will put you out of your comfort zone no matter how squeaky clean you think you are. But people don't want to hear that part. They want to hear that they're going to be rescued. They want to hear that they don't have to do all of this deep work. It's going to be okay. And it's like, well, not all of us feel that way, Like for me, I personally treat my demons like they're people. I don't extract from them. I don't see them transactionally. I go to them for counsel. And, like with Belial in particular, we communicate chronically daily. I have a lot of experiences with him, astral dreams. Sometimes I just need some sleep, But and sometimes our energies, it's just so clean cut and like aligned that we'll have like the same movements in the same message. It's really weird, like almost like mirroring each other without him just, being him and kind of mocking me. But he does that. It's like, ugh. But I will go to him for counsel because I want to solve this myself, because I understand as a very, powerful being, we all are very vast. I want to figure it out. I just need some help understanding what I need to do. And sometimes he's just like, you need to be still and rest. And I'll talk about that in another video because I already talked about stillness last video that I made on here. But people don't want to hear that when the cameras are off, like your magic can really work if you apply yourself without the forcing that energy, without feeling obligated, without performative. It just has to come natural, and you get that with growth. You get that with doing things that are a bit uncomfortable without having a big dumb ego about it, because that shit's super goofy and annoying too. You have to just be really steady and grounded, and also not so grounded that you forget that we are mystic. If anything, I see a lot of that on Witchtok where people are like, that's not realistic. It's like, this fucking shit's not realistic. This whole like world that's just blowing itself up and just starving everybody out and has been in cycles, that doesn't seem like fucking reality to me. Like that seems like a big bad dream. So with me and my experiences behind the scenes, just really, I work every day, and I'm not going to apologize for having time to do that, because I manifested that. I adapted to being able to enter, like, welcome that into my vortex, because I expanded my vortex. When you expand, when you work on yourself, you will have more resources, you will have more time, you will have more rest, you will have all these things. But you're also going to have shifts. You're also going to have discomfort. You're also going to have days where you don't want to fucking do it. And you're going to kind of have to do it. And if you don't, you need to not use it as an excuse to fall off. And we all have experience with that. We don't need to feel ashamed of it. But people who are flinching at themselves, they want to sensationalize this. They want to show the pageantry of a dark demonic spiritual path. But they don't want to do the fucking dirty groundwork behind the scenes. And they want to piss on everybody who's showing up and who's changing, who's transforming. It's crazy, and they'll try to cling on to who you used to be. I don't deal with people like that, not because I'm ashamed of who I used to be. It's because of intent. It's subconscious intent. And you have to be kind of fucking predatory with your energy, and you have to be really, really solid with yourself, and not just letting people extract from you, and also not just bleeding out for the collective. If you make videos, most of you guys don't. I see that too, and people are trying so hard because they're desperate for money, and everybody is like, we're going to be headed toward a depression like in the next 5 years. I'm pretty certain of that. And that's because I've done some really deep research, and I've consulted with people who are very fluent with economics. And that's a reality people don't want to face, and people want to sit there and snivel and be rescued. But in reality, like, I've used magic to help me out to the point where I had this ridiculous visa case finally cleared, and realized that I needed to be stuck here. I needed to not be in hustle culture. And he taught me that, because I was a line cook, and we don't get paid much, and it doesn't matter where you work. And I had side hustles. I food blogged. I did ghost writing and food photography back in the mid 2000s. And I made money from all these sources, but I was so exhausted because I had to do that in order to get that on my resume. And then I ended up in a foreign country and stuck here for a decade, and without able to work. And I'm like, well, fuck. So I started Kitchen Occultist eventually. And I just grew as much as I could, but I also have been so busy behind the scenes that I didn't have time to be consistent with my stuff, or I was burnt out. And when I was burnt out, I would watch videos and just see this sort of narrative get worse and worse and worse. And it inspired me to like really make sure that I can get to work, but also rest and just disconnect from this fucking matrix. And people don't want to hear it. People don't want to hear that's not realistic. I know it's not. It's not realistic that I have very cheap expenses, not really, but compared to everybody in the demographic in my area, and I have the most space and I have resources and time, and people get shitty about that. And my question is, why the fuck are you a witch? It works. You motherfuckers need to do the work within yourself. And if you think by just lighting candles and extracting your own energy is going to work, you're going to be gassed out, and then you're going to be cranky and hangry, and you're going to have a headache, and you're going to be just chronically focusing on those of us who are trying to build ourselves and who are unapologetic for stepping into our power. Because listen, I'm going to say this real quick. It's not about a fucking glow up, okay? I've always been pretty confident, solid with myself. My thing is I got sick and tired of flinching. I got sick and tired of flinching at myself. I got sick and tired of feeling like I need to make myself palatable and soft so people don't get mad because I'm extra. But then on the flip side, I would get mad and swan dive into drama because of it, because I have a big mouth and I speak my mind and I don't pitter patter, or what I tell my older kids, Homer Simpson in the bushes, like that meme where he's doing that shit. I tell them, don't be fucking Homer Simpson in the bushes. You know, you face your shit, you take ownership of your faults and you learn from them silently, and you don't need to cling on to shame and guilt and embarrassment. Walk through it, have a pair of balls in a spine and use them. And a lot of these people do not want to hear that. You do get everything you want. It's a lesson for you to be able to handle it. Like, I get whatever I want to. If I ask him, I get it. And then it's like ridiculous. And I'm like, oh, fuck. And I have to be able to carry those resources gracefully. But people want this fantasy, and then they wonder why their life isn't making much movement. When I'm trying to tell you, your life will shift. It doesn't matter how fucked up it's getting back there, getting out there. It's getting very chaotic, and people are hyper fixated on that and hoping if we vote for somebody, it's going to change. If we do this, it's going to change. If we sugarcoat everything, if I'm right about my two-dimensional argument, then I'll make some progress and everything will be easy and it'll be sugarcoated for me. And I'm telling you, without trying to be an asshole, if you actually pull your spine out of your ass and you face yourself in the mirror, your life will fucking change dramatically with demons. It takes a lot of work, and there is sacrifice, and a lot of sacrifice for some of us is you are going to be misaligned with people who don't want to grow, who are mad at you for your growth, who get angry. They might get envious. They might get fucking bitter because you're a mirror to them. Some of us are mirrors. I'm also an Aquarius, so I'm like a daughter of Belial and a mirror. It's like a double mirror, and it's been very, very difficult in my personal life, even though I handle myself. And I'm not saying I always handled myself gracefully in terms of reacted, but I'm fair. I have always been fucking fair. And I've always been like accountable for my own bullshit. And I've always wanted so hard to just be healthy and try very hard. And some of us have had to fight so hard for our sovereignty while being called worthless all the time, while being the black sheep, while being abused, that we said, you know what, fuck this shit. I'm going to have to be fucking S-class. Fuck all these people. And you get so good at it that you don't give a fuck about what they think. You don't hope that they'll see you one day, because we do that sometimes. Like, oh, I hope finally, you know. It's never going to happen. You have to disconnect and make those sacrifices. And I just see a lot of thumbsuckers that get angry and they flinch and they get so fucking pissed off when you tell them no. When you tell them no. They feel so entitled and pissed off that you won't just make everything easy for them to digest. And it's like, I don't have to. I don't want to. And it's not that you have to be so hard that your life's miserable. Because sometimes I had to really learn with him is like, I don't need to earn rest. You know, I don't need to feel like I deserve it. I can just rest and enjoy my life and not have to feel like I chronically have to do something. And when I did, I started to really manifest the resources, and that'll expose you. Money and time and blessings do not change you. They expose you to your core. And how you carry them, how you walk forward with them is what's important. People don't want to hear that part. They want to hear they're finally going to cash in and they're going to look the part, and the people that they want them, and their life is going to be just a big fantasy. And it's not. And then they get mad at some of us who are doing the fucking work. They get mad at people too, I've seen, who I think are very, very strong, who say, this is getting too hard for me. This is my finish line with this entity, or where I am this chapter of my life. Because they want the spectacle. They want this show. And I think it's great to be creative. I think it's great to be cinematic if it's natural to you, because we need more authenticity and creativity. But we're getting to this point where everything becomes so stagnant, stale, and performative. And it's just diluting the integrity. It's not diluting the integrity of these gods, because I can tell you this firsthand, they do not give a fuck. But it's diluting the integrity of the practitioner, who are trying to use these gods as like a shield, as like a mask, as like their personality. And I didn't want to be typecast into that. I'm too stubborn to do that. If I do, like, if anything, working, I don't even like saying the term working with, because I don't work with my demons. I just exist with them, and I thoroughly exist. But when our energies collaborate, I sometimes withhold, because people will kind of typecast me. And like I said, I have never been offended, and I also made choices to put myself on social media and talk about my experiences and just show my energy. So like, I'm not a victim in that. It's just this interesting observation. But it's influenced me to like not want to speak of them as much, only because people are looking for glimmer. They're looking for a gimmick. They're looking for the badassery, and those are masks. Those are just parts of it. That's not even the depth of it. I see that with like Lord Azazel a lot, who was the other demon I mentioned earlier about, helping me get to my best potential. And my life has dramatically changed. Like, my health has improved significantly. My resources have. I have more solid boundaries, because some of us, we think we have boundaries because we speak up, but we continue to allow the same behaviors because, well, we can handle it. These people are fucking stupid and I love them, whatever. And they really taught me, like, no, you need to be self-centered a little bit, and you need to have those boundaries. And also with King Belial, obviously, be fucking relentlessly, unapologetically rebellious and do the things that you want to do simply because they are aligned and authentic to you, not because we have to force rebellion and act like, freaking cheeseburgers. I just see some stupid shit, and I'm just, maybe I'm just getting too old too, I forget sometimes. I forget that I'm an old lady, and I don't care. I'm going to do whatever I want to. Once you hit your 40s, oh man, it's fucking great. It's so great to be a woman. You don't give a fuck anymore. And I love it. I was so afraid to turn 30. I was having an existential crisis. I stopped smoking cigarettes. I was just fucking chain smoking up until my birthday too. I was just like, oh my gosh, I'm 30, I'm gonna die. And now, and once I turned 40, I was so excited that I made it, and I'll be 42 next month. And my 40s have been fucking great. I feel better than ever. My knees have healed, like, for real. Like, I feel fantastic, bitch. Don't be telling me, oh, just wait. I ain't waiting for shit. Sorry. That's part of it too. I don't give a fuck anymore, and I feel so free with myself that I can just breathe and exist like we're supposed to, because we are under a systematic spell. I really believe it. I believe that this system, Zionists who use occult, systems that get demonized and our gods get blamed for, I genuinely believe that they are instilling shame and rejection and regret onto the human collective. And they want humans to feel that way, because that causes major blockages that we do to ourselves. We really do. And then we will not take accountability for our part in it because somebody hurt us, or we had an injustice because we worked too hard and we got fucked. I understand. I'm not going to be telling you that I want to glamorize, oh, you just got to work hard. That doesn't even work. You have to fucking unpack your shit up here and remember how magical you are. And these people don't want to hear it on short format content. I'm telling you, when you really walk a deep path with demons, like you don't have to, but the mysticism just becomes normal. And I've learned, especially with an earth demon, earth is really the true mysticism. And it's just fucking fantastic, because some of us who've had I have very chronic astral experiences that just keep getting crazier and crazier, so real that they're real. And I'm able to use some of my senses now in the astral, which I couldn't before, But I can manifest a room, I can create an arena, we own all of that shit. We have all that coding. It's more about metaphor, it's more about comfort, it's more about creating a room that you want to, invoke a feeling or a connection in. And we get to do that in the material realm by taking what's up here and translating it into flesh or into matter. And it's fun. It becomes really fun when you pull your head out of your ass and you start working on yourself, and then you don't become so clinical that you become critical. You kind of just realize this is how it's supposed to be. We're supposed to fuck up a bit. And it's not to flinch from your own shadow or your own accountability, but we're not supposed to have this flawless life. We're just afraid how people will perceive us because we've been judged by people who are afraid to be judged because they project. Just like these fucking Zoomers on social media. It's like boomers and Zoomers, to be honest. Like, that's who's doing it. And a couple millennial cucks that are trying so hard to fit in with everybody, and that's like a small spectrum of it. The rest of us, we're ready for something to fucking crash into Earth and take us. Sometimes I tell them, like, can you just like come down in a spaceship or something and fuck it up, because I'm kind of tired, and they laugh, and that's not how that works anyways. It's not what like all the Christians and people think, like, oh, the demons are gonna come back, and it's your fucking gods, guys. Come on. It's your demi-war gods and your egregores. Like, I wish people would do their research, but people can't because they get indoctrinated as children, or they become so fucking stupefied from social media that they just listen to each other and listen to themselves, and then they start recreating the rules and trying to police the rest of us. And it's like, you're not even doing the work here. So it's this weird experience, being a very small creator on social media, on short format content. I like my audiences a lot. I have really kind feedback and really beautiful people and I'm not even kidding, like, just really beautiful individuals, very eccentric and just wise. And I'm so grateful for that. But there's just some fucking dumb shit, and I just think that it's becoming so sensationalized and diluted while simultaneously becoming so policed that it's becoming restrictive. Like, it's becoming taboo to be rebellious as a Satanist. It's becoming taboo and dangerous to talk about the fucking reality of dark shit that happens in your life. It's becoming too triggering to talk about real shit because everybody wants to just look the part, but they don't want to actually face their own shadow and walk side by side with it. They want to just dress up and pretend and light an incense, which I should, by the way. I think this one's called Black Magic. You're not gonna go buy it. Why am I fucking even trying to tell you? Yeah, it's called Black Aqua. This one is. And it smells quite nice. I can't explain what it smells like. But anyways, we're gonna like that. It's got almost... It kind of smells like Chanel No. 5 and Nag Champa mixed together with like a little bit of blackberry. I don't know how to articulate it, but it works. So anyways, I wanted to light some incense for a bit. Here, clean your aura. But yeah, I have realized that like witchcraft is shifting because people are too busy arguing with each other and too busy policing and trying to restrict each other, and also trying to dismantle other practitioners, trying to tell you you are doing too much. You don't need to do that. None of this is necessary. I don't give a fuck. I like my life. I love to stay busy. I love to bake bread for my demons. I give him offerings every single day. I don't feel obligated to. I don't feel like I'm getting rewarded or these transactional princess pick me points. I genuinely feel at peace. That is it. There's no fucking, big mystery to solve. It's like literally some of us are very aligned and we are okay in our isolation and we aren't coping. I know if I'm coping or not. I have chosen that I do not want to be around a bunch of bitter, rotten, sour, miserable people, simply because I'm going to have this reflex that I'm going to want to fucking fix them, or I'm going to start getting pissed off and beefing with them because they aren't being fair. And it's just easier to be in your own zone. And if you do create content on social media with whatever you do, it doesn't have to be the occult. Like, do your own thing on your own time. Don't feel like you have to be a slave to these systems, because that's all I'm seeing now. It's okay if you post chronically because you want to. There's plenty of fabulous witches that I see that post multiple times a day, and they're making bank and they're doing their thing, but they are enjoying what they do. I want to do that for a while. It's been kind of difficult for me because I also don't want to just become another repetitive blurry face on everybody's feed. I just want to connect. I just want my energy to be able to breathe somewhere for a bit. So I do things the way that I want to. And I like when I see other witches doing the same thing, whether they are chronically pumping out content and they're making bank and they're doing their thing, or they're posting once a month. And that's just such like a treat when I do see some of my favorite creators that I'm just not going to name because I don't know any of these people. And some of them do know me too, but we're not like friends or anything. And I'm the type of person that wants to be friends with everybody that's weird. So, and a lot of times people just don't fucking like you, do they? So then your hopes get crushed and you're like, how fucking dare you? Now we're at war. And I can't have any of that in my life. I'm too blessed with peace because I had to learn how to be okay with peace. And I finally got there, because peace fucks some of you up when you're not used to it, when you're used to chaos and drama, and you're used to just having tragedy all the time, and you're used to trying to compensate by doing the right thing all the time. You're just wearing yourself out. You need to stop giving a fuck, and you need to just live authentically and really march by the beat of your own drum and not give a shit about who's saying what about you, who's doing what. Like, I just see too many brilliant people who are starting to wake up, and that's a first step for a lot of people. And they are so terrified that they're going to make a wrong decision by, like, do I use lavender? Can I use moon water? Can I do this? And I'm like, what the fuck happened? We used to not do this. We used to read some books and also do things intuitively, and it worked. And then talk, face to face before the internet really took off. So, some of us who are around my age bracket, like, we were doing the AOL satanic and pagan community chats, and then message boards and threads, and then YouTube and so forth. But now it's just so rapid, it's so fast paced, and it's disconnecting. And it feels like everybody's focused on being right about shit that they're not even fluent in. And then the people that are fluent in the occult and with their demons, they're just bitching about the same shit, and you don't see any growth from them. You don't see their wisdom really shining because they're hyper fixated on trying to police everybody's craft and trying to flinch because people use blood and because people do animal sacrifice, which I don't believe in doing, sacrificing somebody's cat or anything. Just to clear that up, like with sacrificial stuff, like animal sacrifice, like if you use like an old rooster or something like that, like a lot of times you will fast and skip a meal and it's done in a humane way. I'm not talking about kidnapping your neighbor's cat and doing stupid Hollywood sensationalized, Satanism scapegoat sort of stereotypes. I want to make that clear. But that is like a real practice, and people don't want to hear about it. People don't want to hear about blood magic. They want to, but they don't want to hear the reality of it. They don't want to hear about sex magic unless they are trying to just be super lustful about it. It's getting stupid, and in my opinion, it doesn't dilute the integrity of like these fallen angels. But what it does is it keeps you at a checkpoint in their history, in their soul's history, when they were very impulsive, when they were very reckless, when they were very rebellious, just, out of control. Like, what I believe as a secular practitioner, I'm sorry if my camera's fucking shaking, because I'm over here just banging on the damn table. But as a secular practitioner, I genuinely believe that they, like, just slammed down into earth this energetic fucking field, and it just ricocheted, and now we're walking that path that they had to pave. They were forced to pave. They were the first to experience these very intense things, or these betrayals, or perform these betrayals. Not all the fallen angels were bad. A lot of them are neutral. Some of them had very ill intent, and some of them had great intent, and they got fucked up along the way. And I know a few of those demons. That I know a lot about some of these just with my own UPG and just studying codices and stuff like that. It really feels like they did that. But these practitioners, they will get stuck at those weak low points and not realize that we're supposed to be evolving with our gods. And also they're walking anew and paving a new path in the dark. Like, we're in an era of evolution. We're in the age of Aquarius. Humanity is evolving, which means a lot of people are devolving simultaneously, because that's part of it. And that also includes spirits, in my opinion, because I have not been told by my demons go and just be reckless and just lots of debauchery and lots of fuckery. It's like you're supposed to learn that path. You know, power is not palatable. Money is not a curse, but it creates more energetic flow. It's water energy, right? So if you're paving that fucking river, you're going to have other shit coming in. You're going to have people coming after you. You're going to have somebody trying to take advantage of you, or all these other aspects. And you have to be able to have discipline and stillness and manage them. But some people get so stuck and they get fixated on the lust, on the debauchery, on the corny side of edgelord rebellion. True rebellion is telling the system to go butt fuck itself. True rebellion is, I'm willing to go to prison. And that'll be a new arena for me if it means that I'm allowed to defend my family. I'm allowed to speak up against things that are fucking terrible and tyrannical. It is not flinching at everything that's confrontational and then acting like a badass and then getting mad when people don't validate that. And this is reality. Like social media, there's reality to it. You know, some people, like, this is some of our lives. But it's also, the arguments are very manufactured and nonsensical. Like, as much as I like to fucking be petty and beef, I also don't, because it's not worth my time. I have nothing to prove, and why would I participate as a grown-ass adult in arguing about dumb shit? Why, I'm not going to defend myself with my words. I'm going to fuck off and defend myself with my own actions in my own life, and I'm going to be completely unapologetic and completely accountable, and I don't owe anybody an explanation for that. And we don't need to, and I'm not saying any of these people do, the ones that are very, I don't know, role-playing this shit. I see some stupid shit, especially from young people. There's a lot of very intelligent young people, of course, but I see some stupid fucking shit, and it's just, you're diluting your own integrity, and you're getting fixated on the weak points aspects of these demons' journeys at times, or you're getting stuck in that energetic loop that some of them will pull you into if you're going to be arrogant, if you're going to act, if you're going to perform, you know, and you're not going to do the groundwork, you're going to be stuck in it, and that's going to be harder, you know, for you, because you're not going to get out of it, and you're going to be sitting there just spiraling, and you're never going to be able to face shit, and you're going to want to control everything. We see this a lot in just the world right now, where people want to control people's opinion so much that we can't even make jokes anymore. We can't fucking call anything out without be calling an ableist or fat phobic or Islamophobic, or you're anti this, you're pro that. And all of these people that continue to spit this nonsense out, they are just keyboard warriors that have nothing else going on in their lives, and they're mad at themselves about it. But because they don't want to face that in the mirror, they're fucking blind to it too. So they just project all of this nonsensical energy onto everybody else. And I hate when I see people with potential doing that, people who are really wise doing that. That's what always kind of bothers me and bums me out. I'm like, this system's fucked. You know, that's where I come from. But so short format content, I'm making some changes on both platforms, on Kitchen Occultist and Vantarook, but I've been working toward the changes that I've being made, and they synchronize with all of these shifts that would want to influence me to make changes anyways. So if I'm not making videos, because I've been asked, like, can you make a video on this with Belial or your experience? I do not want to become that. I started to talk about lots of my experiences because I like to connect, and I genuinely enjoyed, especially on long format videos here on YouTube, other practitioners who spoke about their experiences with their gods and goddesses, especially when I started to become, I almost said secular, theistic within my practice. I was mostly agnostic my entire life. I believed in spirits. I believed in all of these gods and goddesses. I kept on flinching from being tapped on the shoulder. And it wasn't because I was afraid of any of these. I'm not afraid of any of the demons. I don't have those experiences. I have very intense experiences where people were like, fuck, what? You did that? You allegedly did psilocybin and tried to invoke a bad trip and then end up having a euphoric one with one of these demons? It's like, yeah, I thought people would want to do that. And people are like, no, that you don't do that. And it's not even like being arrogant and egotistical and having just something to prove. I just didn't know that it was scary. And that fucks me up sometimes. Fuck, what was the point I was supposed to make? I genuinely enjoyed watching, and I still do videos from practitioners who talk about their gnosis, who talk about something that aligned with their life, and it's so deep and it's so beautiful and it's so cozy, not like in a palatable way, cozy in a like it just feels intimate, and I just like their energetic signature, and it makes you feel a little bit at home. And I don't feel home on social media as much because of just all the nonsense that I see. And I just wish that there was some intimacy sometimes. I've had people suggest that I make a Patreon. I might. I genuinely don't want to put a paywall for the people who want to support me the most. That's the kind of fucked up part. I want to put a paywall to keep all the idiots out. You know what I mean? So that's like the hard part, because I genuinely listen. I'm not trying to like bitch and beef about people who plug their services, plug all of their Patreons, do all this stuff. I am not going to do that because I don't see it working for anybody, and it just doesn't feel right for me. It feels like I have to do it the fucking long way and the hard way, and I have to just be the best that I can be, to where if I have those sort of things, people are going to find them. And I'm saying this as also a spectator because I feel exhausted just seeing it. I don't feel animosity or annoyance with the people at all. I am fucking annoyed that this system in layers is created so much desperation that people who are doing beautiful work and consistent work and they're enjoying it are being reprimanded for it. They're being punished for it. And it's not how it should be. Like, I've made money off of YouTube doing a lot less than like I do on TikTok and stuff like that, back when YouTube was actually fucking profitable. And I would make easy side cash just making videos just for different things at different points in my life, because anytime I'd start to gain traction, I would flinch and fucking fleet because I didn't want the attention. I just wanted to make videos and be creative and be left alone. And now I get to. And people will tell me that too, like, oh, you're really underrated, you should have more views. I'm like, I don't fucking care. I am still getting fucking paid, not because of these social media platforms, but I still get paid by the fucking universe. I have means now. I'm building businesses. I'm fine. I like to do this because it's fun. I ain't begging for shit. And I'm sorry, I'm a little arrogant in those ways. And I can admit that, but I just don't want to do it. I don't feel a negative opinion toward anybody who does. It's just not for me. I feel like doing the fucking complete opposite. I'm going to smoke my weed on camera. I'm going to say fuck the government, and I'm going to not e-beg and plug my services and my storefront. Like, seriously, anything that you're curious about, just look in my link tree. It's always in the link comments section, profile, blah blah blah. All of my information is where it should be. So I don't want to contribute to that simply because I feel like the social media systems want us to. They want us to push it. They might cross own another platform. So I'm not sure who owns Patreon, but you know what I mean. Like, if you're on one social media platform and you're promoting another, then everybody's double making money and energy. And I just want to be here because I feel like being here, and I also think that it's important for people to get out of their comfort zone a little bit and just start creating really deep, good, intimate content again. And us fighting against this shit about, it's so censored. We can't say gun, but you can say triggered all day long. You can't say dead, but you can say unalive. And like, I just won't do it. I won't contribute to it. I'd rather be censored. I do all the time. Trust me, I've been in so much trouble just for my big mouth. I don't care. I think more people need to just continue to get back to where we were when we were treated and acting like fucking adults. I'm not here to sugarcoat things and to tiptoe around people's tyrannical need for false fucking validation that obviously isn't feeding them long term because they're starving for more. And I've just seen it for like, what, 15 years we've seen this sort of shit happening in every subculture and demographic. It's not one side. It's not just the radical liberals who are triggered. It's everybody. The Christian conservatives are getting fucking worse. The radical liberals are getting worse. Everybody's getting worse and they're getting weaker, and it's by design. So when it comes to creating content within the occult and demonology communities, which I think there should be some gatekeeping, and I'm not mad that people aren't. I think the people that actually know what the fuck they're doing are gatekeeping this, and everybody else is just playing house. There's a reason why it's hidden knowledge. There's a reason why it should be hidden, in my opinion, because you can go crazy on this path. And this is real. And even for those of you who are atheistic, it is also psychologically real. And you have to actually ground. In my experience, I ground as much as I do float around in the astral and meditate and have these experiences. And that's why it works for me, because I'm able to almost, not even almost, I feel like I'm living two lives simultaneously, and it works. It just works naturally. Like, I work in cycles. I am a gardener, you guys know, from Kitchen Occultist. I homestead. I'm out in the sun. I'm training. I'm doing all these things. I'm using my hands. I'm building. I'm renovating. And I'm also very spiritual about it without being psychically performative, without having to say, oh, this is my grounding ritual. I'm genuinely in the present with my demons. I'm genuinely feeling aligned without, like, when I'm just some days it's just Belial's energy and I. We really, our energies individual are great, and then combined, it's just this beautiful symphony. And it will just be this whole day. But when I disconnect because I want to focus on my own stuff, I'm clingy, but I'm not clingy. I don't feel like, oh, now I have to get back to my lonely, fucking miserable life. It's not like that at all. I feel like I want to go play and be sad or something. I gotta go by. And then you kind of tap me on the shoulder once in a while and get your attention. A lot of the demons seem to do that, but and it's not intrusive either. It just works, and people don't like to. I don't talk about that very often, but people don't like the idea that you can have time and resources because it doesn't seem realistic. And to me, as a very powerful spirit, just like you are, just like everybody has the potential to be, it's not because you're the chosen one. It's because you've been fucking psychologically traumatized. That's what it is. This works. Magic works. It's what's not realistic to me is being a slave to the system like a lot of us have been or are, and just living this fucking miserable life and just dying bitter. I don't like to see it. I'm not shaming people. It's like by design. And these people who are sitting there with their dicks up their ass playing fairy tale land, they're doing the same shit. And I'm just like, I can't even say, hey, wake up. Like, honestly, I have had to learn to stop trying to save everybody. I have a problem with that. I have a fucking problem. And usually when we do that, some of you guys are the same because I've talked to you. We are avoiding our own bullshit and just have to go save everybody else. And our bullshit might not be flinching at our faults or anything like that. A lot of the times it's we don't want to step into our own power because of imposter syndrome. So if we can just build everybody back up, then we can all come together and it'll be easier. And some of us don't care about criticism. We just care about the like exhaustion and gassing ourselves out because we have to battle people. And then some people who are very shy and very avoidant, they're the ones that are struggling with the other side of that spectrum. And the reality is, you guys, just disconnect from this shit and live your life, do your magic. Don't do it because you feel like you have to. Just fucking live your life and disconnect from things that are unnecessarily energetically siphoning you. Don't give a fuck about people's opinions. Work on that slowly if it's hard for you. Do not give a fuck about people that you love that or you did love that you can't control, things that mistreatments, family breaking up. A lot of us millennials, we are no contact. A lot of young Gen X are as well, and a lot of Gen Z is too. It's sad. It's by design. There's a reason why it's a fucking statistic. And the best thing that you can do is just live your sovereign life and work on your skills and slowly improve yourself, and it's so possible. There's no ebook that can fix your bullshit. There's no 10-minute spells and nonsense. I do ritual, I do spells. This is my temple, this is my office. But it's my temple, and my house is my whole property is my temple. It's consecrated in many areas, and it feels, I can feel that energy here, and I feel great here. And this is a temporary home. I'm going to be expanding, but I am going to be sad when I leave here because I really manifested this place, and it's everything that I wanted. But I feel content and I can manage it. And I also know because I'm expanding without being greedy and starving and hungry and I need more, more, more. I do want to have more. I think it's important to dream big. And I think that if you listen, this will help you out. I'm serious. If it is plausible for somebody else and they've done it, it is plausible for you with magic. You don't need to have this mentality that, oh, all the Nepo babies are getting all the good jobs and all the money. There's truth to it. But those fucking Nepo babies, they were conditioned to believe that they deserved it. And there are plenty of people who weren't, successful because of nepotism, and they were relentlessly rebellious and decided, no, I'm going to do what I want to, and I'm not going to let people shame me. I'm not going to let people try to remind me of what I was at my lowest or try to manufacture my character. You have to fight through all of those things. That's the hard part. That's the sacrifice. It's not eating babies like all these Hollywood fucking weirdos. I get sick of that sort of shit too. It's disappointing how like our community gets demonized still. It's just ironic. But there's so many allusions to this because it's easy to blame something that's dark without understanding what darkness is, because it's either glamorized or it's demonized, and there's a whole path within the dark, and some of us just have always been aligned with this like since early childhood, and that's okay. That's your current. That's who you are. I'm not trying to make a community out of it either. I think everybody needs to fuck off and do their own thing, and we just bump into each other in the dark woods and wish each other luck, you know? But I do crave community. I'm not going to act like I don't. But I don't want to contribute to this circus on social media. I like doing my own thing. I don't use like Witchtok tags or anything anymore because I just don't want to be a part of it. I was never welcome into the club anyways, and I don't want to be into it because I see a lot of people who are getting tyrannical, getting the numbers into their heads, and then just in the comment sections getting more and more demanding and policing. And I'm just like, some of us are chaos witches. Some of us are very fucked up and rebellious. Some of us, there's no way to do it. Like you can dox my ass. You can I've been false flagged. I'll come back with a better name. I'll come back on a new platform. I will be like a fucking parasite. And if I want to do something, I'm just going to take it as an opportunity for growth. That's all you have to do. I'm so serious. And when you do, without avoiding the emotions of how you feel, especially for like really important things, you will be fine. This is fucking silly shit. All of it is so silly. You've been through a lot worse. You've been through so much shit, and I'm like channeling this right now. We get stuck bullshitting and bitching about things that are nonsensical and not realizing that you're not exercising that fortitude muscle. And you're sinking into the level of some of these people who are just bottom feeders because they haven't, and some people are going to be stuck there. Some people are going to have to go down that path and they'll get to their point of, aha, fuck, I get it, light bulb, you know? So it's how it is. You should be grateful for that. If you're grateful for that, then your life gets a lot more adventurous too. And it also gets kind of boring because you can get kind of bored with peace. So then you have to go work on yourself. You need control. And for me, I have control over just doing things that benefit my body and my mind and my environment. And I like to paint and renovate my house and garden and build something new because I can. I might not have the energy sometimes, but I do something anyways. And I also don't apologize for rest. And I've been channeling this on short format content. Like, you guys need to stop feeling guilty for needing rest because this isn't normal. The amount of workload that we have as a collective is not fucking natural at all. The only thing I will say is if you want to be locked in and all in and have a season of working hard, do it for yourself. Do it for shit that's going to bring you actual contentment and expansion. You're not going to feel happy once you have the money. You are going to feel relieved that you can get the tools that you need to make your projects happen, or start painting that fucking portrait because oil paints are really expensive and you couldn't afford it before, like that sort of stuff. And then you're going to have dozens of hours to paint and you don't need to worry about everything else that you want right away. So I've learned that and I operate off of that, and I'm very blessed by the universe, but that doesn't mean that my life is easy and perfect. That means I just try to see everything as an adventure, and I also just know that life is full of texture. And my practice has become, I don't even like calling it a practice, but my life has become so intimate and almost, in all honesty, like cinematic behind the scenes that I just feel greedy and I just don't want to share it. I want to share that with people that would get it and that would, I sound so fucking cringy. Oh, I just want to share it with people that get it. I just want to share that with people that would appreciate it and they understand because maybe they're having similar experiences or they believe in that. They don't flinch because that's possible. I see a lot of witches wanting you to be at the bottom of the barrel, and that's disappointing. And it's always disappointing when it's women, you know? I'm going to say that. Like, it's really disappointing when I see that. And it's very territorial. And I refuse to be anybody's enemy. And this is going to be sounding like my balls are too big. And I'm going to get them kicked up my ass. But I don't have any fucking enemies because you have to be at my caliber of healing in order to be classified as an enemy. I just will deal with what I have to deal with. And I don't get hexed or cursed. I don't have drama in my life because of that. I don't care if people are making videos or saying negative comments. I just observe it for what it is, and I genuinely have a peaceful life. And I think that if you feel emotions with social media, with comments and stuff, that you don't need to feel ashamed about it, but understand that it's taking your energy from you, and just exercise that fortitude. And then your eyes will open, your eye here will open even more, and you're going to see things for what it really fucking is. If you have, a lot of you have already, a lot of you get it, and you get it in a different way than I know. You know, I'm missing something to some of you guys. I'm missing some information. That's healthy. We don't need to be right. We need to just be mature and communicate. And if I had an enemy, which I don't, I would want an enemy that's a worthy opponent, you know, an enemy that you would fucking go to their funeral with respect and not basking in glory. You know, that's the kind of beautiful symphony that I guess I would want if I wanted an enemy, which I don't have any enemies. And that's not because I'm nice and easy to be around. I just kind of stopped giving a fuck, and I just really worked on myself. And you realize people, if they are hating on you, it's not getting to you. It's not your experience. Your experience is to make your life with what it is. I just see a lot of people getting mad when somebody else is saying something about them because you feel it's like this unhealed wound. In my opinion, I am not qualified to talk about psychology. Um, but in my opinion, as an energy reader, it's a wound that you're unaware that's unhealed. You know what I mean? Because you were invalidated so much, and that inner child, that little boy that wasn't treated right, that was abused, that little girl that was just dismissed because she was strong. Like a lot of us were little girls who were really strong and loud, and we were just treated like adults, and we were just dismissed because we can handle it. And then little boys who were very shy were shamed because, oh, you're being a weak pussy. It's like you're a kid, you know, just because you're a boy. It's that sort of stuff. That's an unhealed wound that you don't know that exists. So when you're getting mad at somebody else's opinion of you, it could be arrogance at times, but a lot of time it's injustice. You're like, why the fuck does this bitch have a problem? I'm over here minding my own, and she's all up in my cake mix, you know, sucking up all the fucking oxygen, and won't do it. You know, like I got tired of defending myself, and then when I finally rested, I realized for a lot of things outside of some critical, you know, points that sometimes we have to go through and actually setting boundaries or needing help because it can be unsafe. Outside of your safety, most of the shit just doesn't fucking matter. And I just don't want to swan dive into it. And when you don't do that, that helps you detach and decompress some of these blockages the system has on you, and you're able to manifest more, and your life will start turning around. And it's going to be hard too, because a lot of you guys know this, you're going to leave people, and people are going to leave you. You're going to not no longer calibrate. And it's okay to be in that season of isolation too. Just understand that there's a journey of it. You're going to have low points, you're going to have high points, you're going to be in denial about how happy you are in isolation, you're going to crave connection. And then you get to this point of like, maybe it's like a trauma bond, but you just feel at peace, and you can be out and in and out and in of it, and you just really feel at peace. And like right now, because the world's really crumbling apart, I don't feel like I have to hide and retreat. I just feel at ease. Like, why would I want to leave my house if I don't have to? I have space. You know, that's the thing too. Don't be so like locked in the house that it's unhealthy for you. I do go out. I go out for coffee, but and run errands and stuff. But like, I don't want to be out doing stupid shit or being around people, because like the energy is really, really negative lately. And it's not even about me absorbing that, because you can manage that. For those of you who feel like you're sucking up everybody's energy for like a sponge, wear tourmaline or keep it on your person, and get into some invisibility work. When you do invisibility spells and you really see like a sphere of energy and protection around you, you like seriously, invisibility spells, like maybe I should make a video on this, but like people will kind of scatter. And they won't like look at you and go, oh fuck, a witch, you know, and scatter like cockroaches. They're just going to like kind of be ready to leave, and you have more space. Like that happens when I go out. I make sure not to do it too much, like going to the park, because my kids have their friends that they meet up at the park with, and just new kids to hang out and have conflict with or whatever. So I don't want to rob them of that. But at the grocery store, if I do go, because I usually just order online or have people get stuff for me, I I make sure I exercise that. So that's something that you can like have permanent too in your psychology, by the way, that you can kind of turn that on or off. You don't have to like do this big ritual every time you're going to go grocery shopping or anything. But wear tourmaline or keep some on your purse and keep some in your handbag, or, you know, anywhere, because it will help. It really does. And just cleanse it. I like to cleanse it in new moon water. I like fucking with the dark moon. And that seems to steady that energy and cleanse it without sterilizing it. But you don't need to soak up all that energy like a sponge, because I just see a lot of like despair, and I don't want to complain about the economy too much because I feel like I've done that enough and you guys want to hear more magical stuff. But the prices here in Australia are starting to get just really insulting, like disturbing. Going grocery shopping is actually fucking disturbing, and the only reason why it doesn't bother me is because I have just brainwashed myself into believing that I'm wealthy and I'm just attracting resources, and now I'm able to have new streams of income and support and abundance and everything. My garden's growing more, everything's working out. And if it were to go backwards, I'd be able to adapt, and I'd be able to fast, and I'd be able to fucking get through it. And I want people to have that mentality. It's not to sound hard and gangster or anything. It's like, I don't have another solution. That's really what it is. But it's also because a lot of you are so strong, you don't realize that you can do that. And like you know you can, you just forgot because you're exhausted. You're strong, you're able to do that. It's just like right now you're like, the last fucking thing I want to do is that shit, because this system exhausts everybody. And because the system's exhausting everybody, that's why you have all these baby witches bitching and sniveling about how their narrative isn't being matched and how triggering it is, because they're not used to confrontation. They have become so sugar coated. They have been able to do whatever that they want to, not whatever they want to, but like for instance, in public schools, a lot of the kids now, from my understanding, they can have a fucking government issued iPad and they're not forced to do their schoolwork, and kids are becoming illiterate now. That's what I mean. They've been programmed like that. And it's not their fault, but they become very stunted. It's I'm telling you, not to you, oh, you're a conspiracy theorist. Look the fuck around, please. Can we get off that fucking high? Can we look around and see that this is not going to get better? It doesn't matter who you vote for. It doesn't matter. It's not going to get better. We have to get better. Everybody's got to stop waiting for somebody to fix it too. Like, that's another thing. We have to really get back out of our comfort zone and fix our fucking villages for our families, and understand that if you fail, it's okay too. You're not going to make it perfect, and you don't need to hold on to guilt because you didn't do this for your kids, or you didn't do this for yourself, or you should, like, we got to get past that. You're a moving current. You're going to kick the bucket off of this hood ass fucking busted ass planet one day. Your spirit's still going to continue to grow. We're in a multi-dimensional universe. You exist everywhere. Like, this is just the place where the spirit is condensed and concentrated, and we have limitations. We have to move with heaviness in our bodies. Like, for those of you who astral travel, you know how easy it is. And what you can practice too is grounding. I've learned with him how to ground in the astral, and I can make physical contact. We even speak sometimes, which that's been kind of new this year, and it's just because it's a type of communication that we learned here on Earth that we just play around with in the astral, because like a lot of you guys know, it's all psychic, it's all intention, it's all very instantaneous, and time sometimes feels like it exists in a measurement, but it also doesn't. So I know that sounds confusing to some people, and I apologize for not being able to articulate myself properly. But here on Earth, we have all of this heavy weight. We have all these limitations. We have movement and slowness and stagnation. He's taught me to treat stillness like a discipline. And when you do that, by like disconnecting from social media, disconnecting from having an opinion on every fucking thing, unless it's a passing opinion that you're observing, you need to just observe this shit. You need to stop getting angry about everything. And that's easier said than done. And it's not because you're wrong for it at all. It's because you refuse to feel powerless. So you want to speak out against stuff, but we're speaking in an echo chamber when we're just commenting on shit that's never going to change politically. We have to make the changes. And I think that within like a satanic community, if you want to call it that, we have to individually show up for ourselves. And those of us who do create content, we just need to maintain our authenticity. I want to make it clear, there are a lot of really amazing witches that create short format content only. Like for real. I've made some really great connections because of that. I might not be best friends with anybody or know them on a personal level, but I see some brilliant minds. I'm not talking about those individuals. They're very authentic. They speak with such wisdom and understanding of the universe and of themselves that you can't deny it when you see it. And they're just fabulous people. I love people so much, but then I don't. But I just don't like being around them. But I noticed though that the majority of the occultists who are making long format content, like they're the ones that are in depth. They're the ones that are like not a part of Witchtok and all these just stupid fucking nonsensical babbling communities. I don't even know what to say. But I see it as people falling for a system that is feeding off of them, and I refuse to participate in it. So that's why I don't speak my demons' names as much. I want to, like I said, but it's just becoming such a freaking gimmick. I refuse to be a novelty. I refuse to treat my gods and goddesses like novelties. And I just wish that social media wasn't so fast paced, that it was like intimate, like the people who will find you will find you. So that's why I don't care that my content doesn't get billions of views or whatever. Like, I like that it's small because I have more freedom in that way. And I get to just play and be that kid that's like ignored while everybody else is fist fighting. And I get to just get into fucking shit and have fun. And I think that if more of us in our own individual ways have that mentality, we can fucking shift some shit. I'm telling you, you're powerful. I refuse to be around people who want to convince me that I have to be powerless because that's reality. I can't relate to it. It's like I don't even know what to do. I just can't. There's too much fucking swag. I'm being fucking stupid, but I refuse to participate. That I think it's crazy to consider yourself a powerful witch, but then need other people to be disempowered in order to keep that illusion. I think that if we're all at ground zero and we're working in the dark and we're communicating in the dark and we're in that reality, that's where you make movement. I'm not saying go and do dangerous shit, but some of us have just been around that sort of stuff. You know, some of us have been around those sort of people, and dangerous people sometimes can be some of the most amazing people that you'll ever meet. And they get stigmatized simply because they stand up for their sovereignty, because they are anti-system, they are anti-apologizing for defending themselves. A lot of you guys are like that. You're anti-apologizing and refusing to sterilize your aesthetic and what your soul wants your avatar to see, what your higher self looks like, and you want to just be covered in glitter and beautiful, you know, clothes and beautiful makeup. Like, and people stigmatize you for that, and you refuse. I don't know why in 2026, the beginning of 2026, we are still fucking here doing that shit. I thought as a child of the 90s, as a teenager from California, I thought that by this time we would have been so fucking past it, but it just seems like we got to this point where everything was accepted and now we are going backwards again. And I feel like some system is manipulating that because we were becoming too intelligent. We were becoming too much of individuals. And like, if you think about it, for a time period, there was like a good, I don't know, about 10, 15 years where you could be wide awake still, like a lot of us were. But things were easier to do. It was easier to be unique. It was not because it was palatable and acceptable. It's just nobody fucking cared. It was just, you did your thing, and now it's becoming like stigmatized, and now witchcraft is becoming demonized, like more so again. I thought we were fucking past that. But now everything's becoming very stigmatized, and witchcraft is becoming demonized again. Like, we are going so backwards. And the witches that are bitching and moaning and policing are contributing to it the most, and they don't even realize it. And I hate to say it, and I don't care if people disagree with me, that's healthy. But I really see it. I see people wanting you to dilute your power, wanting you to not do big rituals, wanting you to not have really deep connections with demons or gods or goddesses. And like, my life is very precious. My demons are extremely precious to me, and I feel more like myself than I ever have. I've always been very, very much an individual. I have always been odd, and I forget that I'm odd. I forget that this is like bad to people, like demonolatry and stuff. I not that I forget because I'm fucking stupid. I just can't relate to it. You know, it feels so natural. It feels so fair and neutral. It's not scary at all. It's real, and you're gonna still go through dark moments in life. They help you walk through them. But now we're in this like fucking sugar shell of just bullshit. And now Satan is seen as just like a pacifist, and seen as an entity that will just give you whatever you want to, and you can just still be the same. It's like, are you fucks kidding me? Are you understanding what's going on here? You're falling for a big fucking bear trap. You have to walk through that sort of stuff. If you are given things, you don't need to fear them, but you need to honor them and respect them, not just gimme, 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 see how I am, hee hee hee, oh hee hee. I'm seeing it. And then on the flip side, the other like boomer type mentalities, like, oh no no no, you don't be powerful, you don't be doing things like that, you don't be making your own candles, you don't have to do that, you don't, no. And it's like, are you just tired and you're just cranky? Because some of us just refuse to be tired because we are and we can't be. Like, you just need to live your life. We don't need to piss and compare. We don't need to feel guilty for our lifestyles unless you're like hurting yourself or you're in a bad spot, or especially if you're hurting other people and it's an understandable thing that they're feeling. Outside of that, like, fucking live your life. Don't take it. For those of you who don't practice witchcraft and aren't deep into the occult, because there is a spectrum of my audience that's like that, that's just wanting to learn or really likes demons but has never worshipped or practiced, and you're not sure. That's fine. But like, don't flinch at these fucking people. Don't feel like you have to tiptoe around your own altar. Don't feel like you have to apologize for just taking your time either. And don't apologize for diving in and really, really embracing yourself and remembering yourself, and being unapologetic for that and for changing. Even outside of like the spiritual communities, like, people don't like it when you change. And you're supposed to be changing. I'm not talking about being a fake ass bitch. I'm talking about like actually changing. Maybe you're trying a new look for yourself, or you're trying, a new type of music, and it's not because of some guy. It's like you're just getting into things, and people go, oh, since when do you listen to smooth jazz? That kind of shit. And I'm just like, oh, well, why aren't you? Like, what the fuck is wrong with that? You're supposed to be doing that. A lot of us are supposed to be doing that. And some of us by nature, like for me, for instance, I can't not do that. I can have seasons of stillness, but I cannot not evolve. I feel so happy, and not like a high happy, like I can breathe clean air happy, that I have my spiritual path and my spiritual support, because I get to just rapid fire grow without it feeling fast. I can just kind of like, I fly free, and it feels like neutral and normal. I'm like, I like to fly fucking fast. But when you're doing it and you're just all ego or all trauma, it feels fast. And when you learn stillness and you disconnect from all this jargon, and you disconnect from everybody's opinions, and you disconnect, for some of you especially, from people trying to shrink you, okay? You are going to breathe a lot better. For those of you who aren't there, for those of you who are, you already know what that's like. And those of you, there's some of you too that just forgot. You used to be, and you're in a season where you fucking forgot, and you're like, oh, I need that reminder. And that's strength, because a lot of people don't want to admit that. They don't want to admit, oh, I kind of fumbled. I knew better, and I wasn't doing that for a bit. And we don't need to feel that. Like, it's so stupid. It's so stupid that we do this as a species, that we just sit and shame each other and shame ourselves, and then we just stay stuck, and then we Homer Simpson in the bushes, and then we wonder like why we're so like mad. And it's not to shame people. It's like, you have to just be a little bit uncomfortable. And right now, I think disconnecting from this global collective in the metaverse would help with that. and for me, it has. I never like had beef with people, to be honest. I keep to myself and I just don't care when people do, because there's been a couple weirdos that are just like, they stalk you and try to, I'm just like, I'm too tired, bitch. Okay, just shoot, woof. You're just like the pit bull, woof. You're not worried about the yapping chihuahua right now. Like, I think some of us too, just on a side note, are so tired. Like, if somebody tried something with you, you're just like not in the fucking mood. You just be fueled up because of that part. I am also going through premenopause, so that can be part of it too. Because people will say, "Aren't you scared?" I'm fucking no, I'm tired. So that's gonna fuel my ass if people try to have problems. But outside of premenopause, okay, because it's hard, but it's not that bad. I just don't like drama in my life, and I just observe this sort of shit and see it for what it is. And I decided that my practice, my life is just so sacred, and my demons, my connections are so sacred that I'll find my village with people that I can talk to about it. I'm still going to make videos. I still have stuff that I'm finally going to be able to do for Kitchen Occultists. I just was low on digital space and actual physical time. So now I have all of those resources and I'll be able to produce some stuff. But I've had things written down on my laptop for a minute and ideas and things I wanted to make. So manifest that, whether it's making videos or not. I'm super telling you, just like on a side note, like I have some of my stuff's in boxes right now. Journals full of like video ideas. I have digital journals on my phone for things that I want to do, like things for music, because I've been dabbling with that because there's so many restrictions too. And it's not even by the artists, it's by these big fucking Zionist owned companies that like to own people's literal voices. But I'm just working on other things, and I work in chaos. I'm like, I gotta work on this until there's no more resources to work on it. Then I move to this, to this, to this, and then it all comes around kind of like when you're a cook, everybody has like, parts of dishes for a table, and they're all gonna come out at the same time. Like when you're like 5 minutes in on that steak that's medium well, you have to tell the saute cooks to fire the pasta so they can get that going, and then you tell the pantry cook they have to make the salad or whatever it is, and you have that sort of timing. But that's how I work. I'm a fucking air sign, so it's probably that too. But do your thing authentically. Don't feel like you have to chase these algorithms. Don't feel like you have to care if people are policing your craft. And that's including me. If you're watching this and you're like, well, I have a relationship with Asmodeus like this, who the fuck does this bitch think she is? I know who the fuck I am. You don't. And you know you, and that's all that you need. That's it. My opinion is my opinion, and you are gonna sleep easy, and so am I, because we are grown-ass adults with our dicks not on our ass. So I don't know what else to say. Like, can we get to that point, or is that too much to ask? Can we just have fucking opinions and not care? Can we just do our thing? Like, first of all, I'm going to be completely honest with you guys. As rational as I am at times, my life behind the scenes would seem very irrational to most people. I talk out loud to spirits. I have conversations and laughter and moments and simultaneous things in nature that happen, like my place got hit by lightning, things like that, that happen, and it is very magical, and I love that. And it would seem odd to people, and it does to people who do get glimpses, because there's always something going around. There's always birds around. There's always crows around. There's always something happening. There's always something magical. And that's not to try to, amplify and try to make it seem like this big thing. It's like I'm trying to explain to people, when you remember who the fuck you are and you accept yourself and you actually feel clean, energetic alignment with or without deity, okay? It's not even about like your connection with your deity, and your versions of demons are going to be different than mine. Mine happens to be very just obsidian sharp and clear and clean with him in particular. And it just, the more that I accept that, the more my life aligns spiritually and physically. And I don't hold on to like, oh, I'm in a good season right now. There's going to be bad seasons. That's it. You're going to get through it. And we when we don't flinch at that reality, and we don't have to hyperfixate it on either and get super morbid or just scared, we are able to exist, and you're able to have the capacity, the time, the energy to remember how powerful you are and to really be okay with that. Because I see a lot of very powerful practitioners right here from you. And some people, I can tell, like, some people have messaged me and they're like, I really feel like I'm a demigod, or I feel like I'm this. I know when somebody's erratic and when somebody's like really trying to unpack something and sort it out, or they're sure of themselves, but they're still trying to just connect to feel okay, just to feel like you're, hey, you, are you one of us too? Fuck, man, it's fucked over here, isn't it? It's like that sort of feeling. And I like that. I like that type of audience. When you get to that point with yourself and you realize that you are just finite in how much you can expand without having to chase it, without having to be hungry for it, without having to finish something, but just keep going and enjoy the journey, it really becomes so magical. And you just need to disconnect from this shit on social media. It is fucking toxic. It's just terrible energy. It's not even good energy. It's like junk food. And these people are going to be just stuck on every platform until it collapses, and they're going to all livestock flock to the next one and be fucking hyper vigilant on that one too. And then there's going to be a lot of us, a lot of you guys who aren't on social media. Good for you. You watch a few long videos and you fuck off and you have a life. You will be able to focus on being in the present more without energetic chronic input and output. So I wish people would understand that. And maybe you have a different opinion or perspective, but social media, just the internet in general, it makes our energy vastly fucking vulnerable. And we just pour out. That's why people will feel drained after like being on social media. But it's like, if you watch a movie, you don't feel drained usually. You might feel sleepy and cozy and, full of snacks or something. But like social media, with how fast paced and how just everybody's so upset, it can drain you even when you're objective. Like I said, I don't get mad when people say shit. When I see things and somebody's talking about something that would apply to me, I'm just like, this human being has a fucking opinion. Who cares? They're not coming to my house and forcing me to live a certain way. I'm not afraid that they're going to change the narrative. I already know a lot of humanity's fucking stupid. So why would I care if something, you're going to say this about men or women, or you're going to do this? Why would I care? Why are we caring? You being strong enough with yourself is going to make more of a difference than bitching and arguing about it. And we've all done it. I'm not saying I haven't, because like I said, here's the thing. I like arguing, but I like to make a fucking symphony. And you know what? I have to do that with Belial a lot. Not a lot, but when we do, I always learn something. There's always this beautiful epiphany in layers. I'm not fucking kidding. And I'm just like, I get like flabbergasted. Like, holy fuck, checkmate, but it's not, and he'll like haha about it because he's super petty. But I actually learn, and I feel humbled in the most graceful way. And I just love the fucking cleverness. I just love witty, and I like to argue with those types of people. I like it when I would ever have beef with people who are just hella fucking dumb like I am, and you're just waiting to see what they would say to see if it's entertaining so you can clap back and see what you say. Like, it wasn't even about the argument, to be honest. But these days, everybody's so fucking mad and so appalled and so offended, and it doesn't matter what demographic you are, it's everybody. It's not one demographic. It's everybody. It's every demographic. And then there's a lot of us who are like, this is fucking nuts, isn't it? We don't have to fucking trip on this shit. You need to just live your best life. Oh, by the way, I apologize for the noise. I don't remember if I mentioned it. I put my air conditioner on, so it might hum a bit in the background, because it's like about 4 billion degrees outside right now. And even though it's like close to midnight, I think, I have that phone. I have 3 phones. It's kind of embarrassing. One's being used for a light right now, and I'm filming on one, and I wanted to check the time on the other. So I feel annoying for that shit, because I had 2 phones for years. One of them's for filming and work and stuff like that, and one of them's literally just for like texting and YouTube music and like WhatsApp. That's it. But that helps me not be on social media as much, and like I try to do that. So use your old phone. A lot of like successful people do that. You can use your old phone and keep the SIM card in there, and then use the new one for work. Use the new one to make money. And put some sigils in your thing in here too. Like I've just changed out I got to put a new bay leaf, but I put a bay leaf usually in between here. Sometimes I'll write a petition. These are sorcery tools, okay? They really are. They're made out of fucking crystals. Hello. Make money off of them. So, and you can, and don't you listen, I really need to do like a video on this, but I've learned this firsthand as somebody who used to food blog and do all these things, like I mentioned. Do not chase it. Do not do things because you think it's going to work. Do things because you feel fucking excited to do them, and you are going to be just fine. And you have to really walk through the intimidation of that. And even if you're very tough and strong, that can be very, very difficult. Okay, trust me. Like I said, I always flinched at myself, and I hold myself back a lot unless I like have to be the one that makes it happen, you know? And my experience with demons have helped me to just disconnect from that, disconnect from noise in my own life, let alone social media, which really shouldn't be that fucking deep, in my opinion. You should not leave social media mad because you're arguing with somebody. You should really be like kind of fucking sociopathic about it. Be like, okay, anyways, fucking done with that. You can do that with work. You can do that with your emails. It's hard. It's hard. It was hard for me to do that with work, and you guys are the same way. Some of you, like, I would get out of work. Working in kitchens was just awesome, but it was a nightmare. And you're just bitching about fucking work the whole time on your time off, just letting this whole system be rent free in your vortex. And I had to really decompress from that. So it is a lot easier said than done. Everything that I have mentioned and given counsel on, I am not here to try to make it seem like, oh, it's easy. It's easy in theory, but it's kind of like losing weight or gaining muscle, you know? It's easy to say, oh, calories in, calories out, and exercise levels. Eat less and move more for most, you know, people, because there's like disorders and hormones and all these other factors. But like in general, that's fucking pretty easy, right? But what's the hard part? Our paradigm, our trauma, our blockages, our weight, our exhaustion, our, you know, imposter syndrome, our, oh, what if I fail at this? So I might not as well try it, or we need comfort right now. Oh, you know, our emotional eaters, whatever it is. Lethargy, I don't want to work out because I feel like shit when I need to go somewhere. It's understandable. And it's the same thing when you need to deprogram from giving your energy to a bunch of like random people. It's the same fucking thing. You have to protect that. And when you do, you will find clarity. But this shit's not it. This shit where people are demonizing witchcraft, and that's, I don't want to say be like too sensationalist when I say that's kind of fucking scary to me. It's just like something in the core of me. The online communities of witchcraft, like in the 90s and the early 2000s, it used to give you some relief. And I've had pagan and satanic friends most of my life. I've been really blessed to be around a lot of that, like just naturally without even trying to. But outside of that, online, we used to find like intimacy and sanctity and like a bit of breath of fresh air, because you're in this system that wants you to be sterilized, wants you to look the same, walk the same, laugh the fucking same. We see it. Do we not see it? Do you not see that everybody's starting to just turn into an NPC? Like they really are. They're just being sterilized down and getting their fucking Stanley Cups and shit. Well, not anymore. They're not trending anymore. It's stupid. They don't even realize that they're under literal spells. They're under charm spells, and they're under fucking like trances almost. And it's disappointing and scary. I know I'm kind of like going full circle here. As a witch, something in my core feels almost like threatened. I don't know how to explain it. Like an old part of my soul feels threatened when I see how Christianity and this is becoming radically demonized again, when we had an era of relief and we had an era of like, it was just a couple boomer Christians that would harass you. But now it's becoming like, because of all of this upheaval, that people are really frantically wanting to blame the scapegoat again. They want to blame the easy fucking dark target again, instead of looking at the bigger picture. Because when you try to explain that to religious people, they are so programmed and hypnotized. They won't do it. They will not respond. They flinch at it and they fleet. And I'm just like, can't you recognize that you're flinching and fleeting? Can you understand that that's a fucking problem? Can you understand, you know? So you don't need to explain shit to people. I don't anymore. It's just, it got to a point where I was trying so hard. Sorry, I had to go check. There's bats outside. So I was just checking outside because I heard a bump, and I'm like, it's most likely wildlife. But yeah, I live in a very safe country, fortunately. But I am from California, so that kind of never leaves you. But you know, like what I was saying, I'm sorry for getting off topic and a bit distracted. It kind of rattles something in me like deep. It's not even like me as Amber that gets rattled by this, but something kind of deep in my core feels a bit rattled in seeing how this is becoming demonized, how witchcraft is becoming demonized. There's people who want to make it illegal as well. There it's kind of getting weird, you know, and I'm just like, well, why would you want to fucking do that, you know? And it just seems like because we're in an information era and we have access to this knowledge, which is a double-edged sword, because like I said, there's those of us who know what we're doing and we're learning. Some we fumble, I don't have all the answers, I'm not flawless, and people disagree with me, and I think, like I said, I think that's healthy. But on the flip side of that, of people trying to be proficient, at least you have this demographic of people that just want everything diluted and sugar coated, and that's weakening the whole fucking argument. But because of everything upheavaling and crumbling and falling apart and being exposed right now, we are also dealing with this sort of like raw exposure where people are crying witchcraft again. And it's 2026. And I genuinely thought, stupidly, that we would be over that. And I don't want to see people contributing to that. So I refuse to participate, because these people are not realizing that they're contributing to that. They're contributing, they're all these scare tactics. Oh, you don't want to do this, you don't want to do that, you don't want blah, blah, blah. Excuse me. You want to try to do things that are out of your comfort zone. If you're not operating off of ego, you want to step into your power, you want to expand, and it's painful. You don't get to grow without growing pains. You're gonna get abundance and all that shit. Fucking who cares? Seriously, because you're powerful without it anyways. All that does is give you more opportunity to create. That's all it does. It just gives you opportunity to create and to be a bit comfortable, but you know what it's like to be uncomfortable. So you know how to adapt if you had to, if this system is really just trying to fuck everybody like it has been. That's the whole point of it, in my opinion. You don't have to be like ready, like so ready that you're just paranoid, but you need to just be okay. Like be that warrior in your garden and do the work and also enjoy your life and don't apologize for it. Because doing the work and enjoying your life seems to be becoming taboo even within the witchcraft community. Like my magic works. And my alliances with my demons are fabulous. And I have experiences that aren't just in semi-meditation in my imagination. Like I can fucking write books about this sort of shit. But things are so sacred and so special to me. And it's not to gatekeep and try to give this undertone. Oh, I'm so chosen. No, it's just it's just mind-blowing at how beautiful life is and how beautiful a demonic practice can be if you're doing the work. And I'm not trying to make sure that I cross all my T's and dot my I's. Oh, I'm going to do this perfect. Like they've made it very fucking clear. You're not going to be flawless on this, no matter how good you think you're going to do. Because trust me, I've gone through it already with them. I went through that. I'm going to just do what I'm told. I'll still question shit, but I'm also going to be keeping an ear open because I want to learn. But like sometimes you need to be a bit delusional, a bit selfish, and a bit of a failure and a bit of a fucking loser a bit, so you can get into that season and then not feel guilty anymore and then crack open and continue to expand. And that's part of the human experience. That's part of mastering yourself. So and then also being completely just unapologetically fabulous and just doing what you want to do, living your life, even though it's odd and abnormal. You don't need to feel shamed or like, you know, keep being closed off and all of these weird feelings that people feel. So no, my life, if I really showed you my day to day and not just talked on camera, like my people would think I'm fucking nuts. And that's okay with me because I know what it's like to be nuts. I've been nuts before. And I am seeing the world seems more fucking nuts to me than anything. And that's a hard thing to go through because, like I said, you can become like very God complex with that sort of mentality too. Like, oh, it's everybody but me. I gotta not do that either. So you just really live in the present and you enjoy life and you don't need to flinch or ignore the reality of like bad things going on. But chronically exhausting ourselves and stressing and being angry about the lack of control that we have over that narrative, like the global narrative, it's not going to help you. You have to be able to handle it. You have to be able to catch some strays, and you have to be able to also be unapologetic about your rest. So don't let these people tell you anything. Don't, in my opinion, don't get too fucking hyper vigilant and involved in like short format content, Witchtok drama, no matter what your age is, because I see people a lot younger and a lot older than I am just fucking always bitching and beefing with people. And I'm like, I'm not a pacifist. I'm not a turn the other cheek. I'm the one, I'll fucking swan dive right into drama. I'm the one that starts ringleading and instigating, wanting some bitch to strike me first so I can fucking go ham on her because she's fucking with the wrong people and doing something really terrible. You know, that sort of stupid mentality that I had for a very long time. I see it now and I'm like, why would I want to waste my fucking energy when I'm too busy manifesting and growing and evolving and growing out of needing that in my life? Like, it won't affect you. It's like I said, the yapping chihuahua. It's just kind of annoying and you just go bark and you don't kick dogs, but in that sense, you kind of fucking let it leave and you go and move on with your life and you don't need to hold on to that either like a big old pufferfish, like, oh yeah, see, I'm fucking showed that chihuahua. You need to just chill and it's beautiful. I get to create, I get to finally work on my projects, I get to like just use my imagination all day, which is very important to a lot of you. Some of us need to just be whimsical all the time and ground by, I'm going to create this amazing thing, but I got to fucking grow the ingredients first because they're rare, that sort of thing. You live that parallel and it's such a beautiful relationship with yourself that you get to have with your higher self, and you'll be able to naturally and in a healthy manner to be able to expand. And like life gets fucking better. I know it's been so bad for so many of us. It's been so bad for so many of you. I've heard so many fucking stories that literally just piss me off and break my heart, and it gets better. Unfortunately, that's energy that you get to transmutate and walk through and expand with. You get to cash in on it. But if you're wasting your time deluding other people or not you guys, but you know what I mean, like people that delude themselves and delude other people and do all these things, you're not going to get there. And that's not palatable for people now on the satanic path. Everybody is romanticizing this to the point where it's just like telling stories. The universe works in very mysterious ways, and your life is very unique. And you will see if you're stuck in trauma and stuck in tragedy right now, because some of you are in dark places. I feel it, and I've heard you express that. Some of you are close to death too. I've heard a lot. For a small fry creator, I feel like I've heard a lot. It does get better because you get to master yourself regardless. It's not about what the system wants you to think it's about. And policing other people's craft, we got to not do that, because that's going to just oppress people. It's going to oppress women again. It's going to stupefy children who are born awake. It's going to contribute to scare tactics. And I really feel that the system wants everybody to feel so ashamed of themselves that they shame other people for understanding their power. But lucky for some of you, you're very rebellious by nature, and you're like, fuck that, and you're just like, oh, come on, bitch, this is fucking fun to me. I'm going to go and do the opposite. And that's where that annoying, bratty aspect of yours comes in very handy. And you get to use it in a very mature, sophisticated manner. In a sophisticated manner. See, I'm showing you what it happens behind the scenes. Sophisticated. Most of the time. Sometimes messy. You will be able to counter this bullshit. And I really believe that you'll be able to be successful even though the economy's fucking up. It's not to get your hopes up high. It's like, if you really do the work, if you do the magical work, and work on yourself, like, it does get fucking better. Miracles happen too. And I'm not here to gas people's, hopes up, because you don't need to be so hopeful that you feel high off of it. Come down if you feel that way. Just be steady with it. And I'm telling you, it allows that energy to kind of crack open slowly, like an egg, like a baby chicken coming out of the egg. And like, I see the spheres of energy around like humans, but it feels like it cracks it open a little bit, and it's like an open wound. It feels, it hurts. Or like if you get a tooth pulled and that cold air gets in, after a while it heals itself, and then it creates its own like skin and shell, and then it's larger. That's how energy expansion looks to me. When I see expansion, I see the whole like metamorphosis of it through my mind's eye and through other means that I don't know how to explain. But it's really interesting. I do see like a sphere of energy, and I see when things expand, they crack, and it's painful, and then it's painful when it's exposed, and then it heals itself, and then it's more. You're able to, during that exposure period too, that vulnerability, you're able to attract things in. So when your paradigm stays steady, when you feel vulnerable, when you're like, oh, I don't want to do this because I'm embarrassed, or oh, I'm scared, you're going to attract the good things in if you acknowledge those feelings and stay away from the fucking noise. Like, I'm so serious. Stay away from this bullshit. Stay away from people who are like listing a bunch of scare tactics. You got to avoid this or bad luck's going to happen to you. It's so stupid to me. It's retarded. And I'm going to say it because you can't say that word anymore. And I will say that word. It's fucking retarded to try to tell people to not grow and to flinch at their own selves and to flinch at their power, because as a result, now even witches, very powerful, wise people, are becoming weak and down, and that's a tragedy to me. So anyways, I think I'm gonna wrap it up because I've been yapping for 2 hours now, but I'm working on stuff still that I had promised, and it's just been taking a long time because it was supposed to. And I feel like this big shift's going to happen with social media and with the world. And just like I said, in layers, I just see all these shifts. I see them and feel them happening, and I observe them. But I think it's a brilliant time to start being authentic and a bit rebellious in what you want to do and how you do it, and not feeling like you have to have this clinical sort of list and you got to Google for information. Like, none of it works. It's all just to make you chase your own tail so you don't become successful. That's why most people aren't successful. And they buy bullshit from people who are selling bullshit, and they think, oh, I'm going to buy this person's course. No offense, buy like spells and services, and if it works, but like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, here's how you get rich. And these people aren't rich. They're getting rich off of selling ebooks to teach you how to get rich. Like, that's what I mean, that sort of spectrum of bullshit, it's not needed. You're just going to go out and be authentic and do things against the algorithm's wishes. And that's how you shift it. So anyways, you guys take care, and thank you for hanging out with me if you made it this far. And I will be back a lot sooner than I have been. And I'm so sorry that I haven't been consistent because I've gotten some messages on Instagram. And thank you for just wanting to have more videos. But I have more time and space now.